This is not merely another battlefield update, it's a pivotal episode that flips expectations on their head. What presented itself as an unstoppable armored tide soon became a nightmare after Ukrainian forces executed a concealed, precisely timed ambush. In this breakdown we show how cunning, meticulous planning and cold execution turned apparent overwhelming force into total disorder. The column extended for miles, a continuous ribbon of steel cutting across fields and narrow country lanes. Scores of heavy main battle tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, missile launchers, artillery pieces and service trucks moved in tight succession. Tankers and logistical trucks formed the convoy's vital bloodstream, intended to keep momentum and prevent pause. From any distance it looked invincible, a raw display of Russian mass meant to intimidate, crush resistance, and dominate terrain. Russian commanders relied on mass and shock to steamroll defenders. Their doctrine, and built around speed and armored weight, assumed momentum was invulnerability. Yet that very scale bred fragility. Every refueling halt, every slowdown to negotiate bad ground, every predictable bend became an opportunity. Ukraine wasn't caught unaware. Its intelligence grid, a blend of tech and human sources, tracked the column for days. Surveillance UAVs traced every turn. Intercepted chatter revealed resupply timetables, unit compositions, and command nodes. Local partisans provided on-the-ground verification and timestamps. Instead of confronting the column head-on, Ukrainian planners prepared a silent battlefield. Engineers seeded charges at bridges, junctions and choke points so the column could be stopped or funneled exactly where needed. Special operations elements reconnoitered firing arcs along ridge lines, woodland edges and derelict hamlets, choosing positions that maximized lethality while keeping concealment. Camouflage tube artillery lay in wait under netting and foliage, ready to open with devastatingly precise barrages. Overhead, drones loitered unseen, streaming live targeting feeds to command nodes. Nothing was left to chance. The approach was surgical: isolate, trap, and annihilate. As the column advanced, its length turned from strength into liability. Spread across miles and confined to narrow country roads, the formation became a long, slow target. Crew confidence in armored protection and firepower made them complacent. They underestimated Ukrainian planning and the chaotic nature of modern asymmetric fights. When the ambush erupted, chaos was instantaneous. Artillery slammed both the lead elements and rear logistics almost simultaneously, sealing the column inside a corridor of fire. Fuelers and support trucks, the convoy's lifeline, were among the first to ignite. Enormous conflagrations and secondary detonations from ammunition stores erupted. Panic rippled through the ranks. Drivers reversed blindly into burning zones, colliding with other vehicles. Others tried to surge forward into areas already in flame. Every move played into Ukraine's scripted trap. Precision anti-tank rockets and targeted sniper strikes ensured few vehicles moved unscathed. Within minutes, the once mighty formation became a field of wrecks. Roads littered with smoldering hulks, cratered earth, and towers of black smoke visible for miles. Russian units disintegrated into confusion, command networks collapsed and morale imploded. Survivors recounted pandemonium. Officers struggling to issue orders, radios dead, and units isolated. When the firing finally ceased, the convoy lay destroyed. Analysts quickly labeled it among the most crushing blows to Russian ground formations since this conflict began. The attack sparked debate among outside observers. Military experts argued whether this was a one-off triumph or a template for modern asymmetric operations. The devastation underscored the danger of over-reliance on mass. Russia had trusted sheer numbers and armored weight, believing that size equated to dominance. Ukraine's success, however, spotlighted how modern ISR, drones, and precision munitions multiply the effectiveness of a smaller, adaptive force. Properly prepared, a leaner side could dismantle a numerically superior foe. Civilian responses were revealing. Images of destroyed vehicles buoyed public morale and gave families a tangible symbol of resistance. Frontline soldiers felt reinvigorated, seeing proof that strategic craft could neutralize brute force. Internationally, NATO analysts pored over the operation, extracting lessons on how agile, tech-enabled units can counter traditional armored doctrine, and how integrated intelligence can flip battlefield math. This episode also illuminated the changing face of 21st century combat. Size and firepower no longer guarantee success. Smaller, quicker, and better informed units can exploit terrain, timing, and situational awareness to inflict disproportionate losses. Ukraine converted the battlefield itself into an instrument of war. Their victory rested not on luck, but on painstaking rehearsal and calibrated risk. Accounts from Ukrainian fighters described coordination that bordered on choreographed. Infantry advanced in lockstep with artillery barrages, drones marked and tracked targets, engineers detonated charges at exact moments. Each blast, every missile strike, and each maneuver was synchronized to maximize effect and limit exposure. The Russians were left scrambling, their numeric advantage meaningless when trapped in a narrow funnel. After-action imagery. Satellites capturing blackened hulks across the route showed how thoroughly the column had been neutralized. The psychological effect was enormous. Elite armored units long thought resilient and formidable were revealed as vulnerable. Ukrainian morale surged. Civilians and soldiers gained confidence that their forces could not just hold but strike decisively. For military scholars, the ambush became a case study in adaptation. Overconfidence was lethal. Mobility and adaptability triumphed over raw mass. Precision-guided weapons, instant intelligence, and flexible tactics allowed Ukraine to dismantle doctrine rooted in mass armor. The engagement foreshadowed a doctrinal shift in how ground campaigns would be fought going forward. Geopolitically, the implications were striking. Russia's armored tradition, once a core element of national military pride, now stood publicly exposed. Confidence within formations wavered and Moscow's standing took a hit. Conversely, Ukraine showcased that ingenuity, resolve and planning could blunt superior force. The operation turned into a symbol of national grit and strategic inventiveness, reinforcing international support and reassuring a population enduring privation. The lessons extended into doctrine. Massive armored thrusts might be neutralized by a cunning, flexible response. Commanders would need to rethink plans that depended solely on numbers and brute force. Modern conflict favors those who adapt, integrate technology, and coordinate exacting strikes rapidly. Ukraine's ambush highlighted terrain use, precise timing, and psychological impact. Each destroyed platform and every trapped crew broadcast a stark warning. Even a dominant opponent can be undone by intelligence and preparation. This operation would be recorded as a milestone in contemporary military history. It didn't only inflict heavy material losses, it reframed how wars could be won by smaller, smarter forces wielding precision and adaptability. In the aftermath, soldiers found evidence that bold strategy could overturn odds, and civilians saw tangible proof that defenders remained capable and lethal. Observers concluded that in modern contests, agility and innovation often outweigh raw manpower. As the ambush climaxed, the last Russian vehicles burned or were immobilized. Fires swept roads and fields. Crews abandoned tanks in terror. Ukrainian infantry methodically cleared remaining threats. Command cohesion shattered. Attempts to regroup failed. Every attempt to salvage material ended in further loss. Satellite shots later showed charred tanks, severed logistics, and scorched earth, a hard testament to the planning and execution behind the strike. When the smoke cleared, the scene stood as a monument to Ukrainian craftsmanship in warfare. The convoy's destruction was both a tactical and psychological victory. Ukraine had eliminated a formidable formation while proving the potency of intelligence, flexibility, and coordination. The consequences reached beyond the immediate bloody tableau. The Russian reliance on massed armor showed its weaknesses, and Ukraine's resilience emerged as a symbol of national determination. Soldiers gained confidence, civilians breathed easier, and foreign watchers noted the rising importance of precision and smart tactics over mere numbers. This episode is more than a battle narrative. It's an instruction on adaptation and how warfare is shifted. What began as a show of might ended in ruin and defeat. For Ukraine it was vindication. For Russia it was a stark lesson. For the world it reiterated that the side which innovates, adapts, and strikes with precision will hold the edge. As the last flames died, the battlefield remained a testament to meticulous planning. The convoy's annihilation served as both a battlefield success and a strategic message. Size alone does not secure victory. Ingenuity and execution do. Ukraine's defenders demonstrated that courage and detailed planning can overcome superior numbers and rewrite assumptions about armored warfare forever. The ambush reached its zenith as the final armored vehicles burned or stalled. Fields and roads were ablaze, soldiers fled and Ukrainian forces methodically eliminated remaining resistance. Command networks had ruptured, attempts to regroup collapsed, and salvage efforts only yielded more loss. Satellite confirmation of blackened tanks and blown logistics marked the operation's depth. The battlefield became a monument to Ukrainian craftsmanship, strategic planning realized in ruthless efficiency. The convoy's destruction echoed as both a tactical win and a psychological blow. Ukraine's success underscored that intelligence, agility, and coordinated firepower can outmatch brute force. The event will be remembered not merely as a victory but as a lesson. Adaptation and precise execution define modern success on the battlefield. For further deep dives into engagements reshaping contemporary conflict, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Every account from the front lines shows how strategy, technology, and courage are redefining what it takes to win in the 21st century.